Right. Now, the question is, how do you stay calm when something's happened that just looks, you feel like you're about to boil over? There are ways of dealing with it, and it's all about managing your own emotions and taking time to do the thinking that's required to be done. And sometimes that thinking is quite quick. It doesn't have to be like a long sit down and meditate kind of thing. I remember once when my son was young, I went into the dining room. He'd been playing something on the table, I don't know what. And because of my problem, my fault, I had left, for some reason, a can of WD-40, which is like a spray lubricant type thing. It's basically oil. I'd left that somewhere that he could reach it. And I came back into the room and I smelt this oil, and it was horrid. And he had sprayed it everywhere. And I mean everywhere. The table, the walls, the curtains, the toys, everywhere. And I lost my temper. I lost my cool. And I shouted. And afterwards I came back to myself and I realized that it wasn't his fault. It was my fault. I'd left it lying around. So I kind of had to think to myself after that, or tell myself that can't happen again. So I ended up really looking into myself and thinking, what can I do in the future if that kind of thing happens again? And it was easy for me because in my work, in my profession, we have to deal with situations, or I have to deal with situations when they arise. And these situations, you can't deal with them, off the cuff. You can't just have knee-jerk reactions. So I took what I knew and I applied it to my job as a father as well. And the way that I deal with it is I think of the problem or the diagnosis, like what is the issue? And then the options that are available to me. What options do I have? And that option generation requires information from different sources. Like in that moment with my son, should I have been mad? No, I shouldn't. Why? Because the information that was available was that I had left that there. He was, I don't remember, like 3 years old, maybe 3-4 years old. And what do 3 or 4 year olds do? They explore. I should have sat down, sat on my hands, taken a breath, and really just kind of like absorbed all the information that was available. And from that I should have made a decision, and that decision should have been not to shout at him, but instead teach him or give him a lesson as to why he shouldn't have done what he did. And like I said, it wasn't his fault at all, but at the same time a lesson could have been learned. And I don't feel like he learned a lesson that day, because all he did was shut down and start crying because I was an imperfect parent. And that's what it's all about. It's about trying to embrace your imperfections and realize that it's those imperfections and those failures, which we all have, that make you go back and learn. But these things happen. You make mistakes along the way, and in doing so you learn how to become better. And that's what it's all about. Perfectly imperfect parenting. You need to embrace it, because everything you see out there, no one's perfect. There's no perfect lifestyle. There's no perfect bunch of parents out there. It's all about learning as you go along. And eventually, as long as you don't try and be perfect, you just try to do everything that you do with love, it'll work out. Anyway, see you next time.